Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip.
$1.50 tipper, as an anonymous tipper, says, what is your opinion on credit cards? I always associate them with debt and excessive spending. I hear the rewards can be lucrative if you don't carry a balance. You know, here's the thing. There's no actual universal answer to that question because there are a ridiculous amount of different credit cards and different credit options out there. I know for a fact there's credit cards you can get, all right, and that you can only have them if you maintain a balance in an account somewhere. So it's a credit card, but you need to have an account that you draw the money out of, okay? Then there's credit cards that are essentially credit that you rack up, and there's an interest rate associated with it. Some of them are much better than others. Some of them have introductory rates that are great. Some of them have promotional things like, oh, I transferred a balance from another account to this one, and now I get no interest charged for 6 months and stuff like that, okay? And you're absolutely right. There's certain credit cards that if you have them, you can get benefits. So, for example, if you purchase a certain kind of product, you'll get a warranty on the product. If you purchase travel tickets, you get some kind of a contingency backup if something gets canceled or whatever. You can get travel miles. If you spend, you know, a certain amount of money on the card, you get points towards a rewards program or a loyalty program, and that can be redeemed on items, on tickets, on different things. But ultimately, they're all reliant on you actually racking up debt on the card. There's no credit card out there that's going to benefit you with any of those things unless you spend money on the card and you owe. And now it's up to you to be responsible to make your payments on time and to make sure that you pay off your entire balance before any kind of promotional rate runs out and they start charging you what's called revolving interest. Interest on a credit card is far worse than interest on anything else. A car loan, a mortgage, anything like that, very different than interest on a credit card. Interest on a credit card can literally kill you. And this is what happened to me. I can tell you from personal experience, this is what happened to me, is when I moved out here 9 years ago. A lot of my move was financed by credit. And my idea was that I was going to take promotional rates on credit cards and shuffle them around for like 4 or 5 years and slowly pay down all the balances on everything until it was all paid off. What ended up happening was within 1 year of me moving out here, so much awful trolling and things happened to my business that my income went from up here to down here. And when my income was essentially halved, I couldn't afford to stick on that plan anymore. So now what happens? Well, I'm just going to make a minimum payment. That's all I can afford. So what happens? Interest rates skyrocketing, money, you know, owing incremental interest on everything. It's just insane what happened. And I couldn't keep up with it anymore. To the point where I was making minimum payments on every single debt I owed. And it was like I was borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. You ever heard that term? I'm taking out debt here to pay the debt I owe over here so they'll stop bothering me. But now they're going to start bothering me because I took out debt over here. You understand? Anyway, with all that going on, all I can say is there's nothing wrong with credit cards. But they are incredibly tempting because when you have one, you think I can spend it all and pay it later. That's really not how it works. You're going to be spending a lot and then some of anything that you spend on a credit card unless you're in some really like unique promotional situation. I don't recommend anyone rack up credit cards. I don't recommend anyone take out a bunch of credit cards. It's just not good. All right. It doesn't matter what anyone says. It's funny because there's services out there that say, oh, you should take out a bunch of cards. It'll help your credit. It's the worst thing you can do. Right. But anyway, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience. But if you are dead set on selecting a credit card, find one that's going to have benefits you like. You know, like I said, every one is different. Some of them have loyalty programs. So if you're a traveler who travels all the time, some of them give you like a ridiculous amount of points on purchase of plane tickets and stuff like that. So it's worth it to look into that stuff, okay? But overall, yeah, credit cards are pretty much the worst debt you can take out. They really are. They're a trap, and they're easy to fall into a trap of then you can't pay it off, and you could end up screwing yourself over for many, many years like I did. So I would say be very careful with what you do with your credit. Okay.
Go. I got the drip. 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 Go. I got the drip.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop.
So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.